All right, let's talk about Nick Bosa and the San Francisco 49ers. Let's start off with this play because I want to talk about how he could go into this game against the Chiefs. And quite frankly, he might be the difference maker in this game for the 49ers. And I do think he is someone who you have to look at as, if you're a 49ers fan, your potential savior in this game, right? Yes, you have so many talented players on your defense, but it's Mahomes, it's Kelsey. What's a matchup advantage you might have? Well, watch what Nick Bosa is going to do to Dan Skipper, the extra offensive lineman. Bosa, listen, he can beat the best tackles in the league, but when he's matched up against some of the, I don't want to say worst, but, an extra offensive lineman, right? We're not talking about, Penei Sewell, who's standing right next to Skipper on this play. Watch as when it begins, you see how, Bosa is going to get that left arm underneath Skipper's left arm, right? You see what he's doing right there. Watch how well this works. Bosa blows by Skipper, is going to get to Goff, and he gets a sack on that play. Listen, sacks can often be drive killers. Not always. In fact, even on this drive, the Lions ended up getting down to the goal line and then kicking a field goal. But there's certainly, big impact plays and can definitely disrupt things. Now, Mahomes great at avoiding sacks, but if you can disrupt him and get, pressure, good things can happen. If you look at Bosa's Pro Football Focus page, you see they've been very impressed with him throughout the course of his career, but especially this season, he's the second highest graded player with a 92.5 overall grade, third highest graded pass rush grade. So that's what he's bringing to the table. So for Kansas City, who are they going to have block him? First, their right tackle, Jawaan Taylor, who you see, one of the more interesting things, I should say, is someone like Jawaan Taylor, who has not graded particularly well. PFF is not a fan of him, despite the fact that the Chiefs went out and paid him $20 million a year. You see 46 graded pass blocker, so actually not terrible there. He's fine as a pass blocker. Run blocking is terrible, but again, Chiefs probably going to throw the ball a good chunk in this game. But even if you want to say, hey, he's a fine pass blocker, there's no denying that Nick Bosa is a clear upgrade in that. It's a mismatch. And for the other tackle, Donovan Smith, who's had one of the stranger careers you'll ever see. So, had a really rough start to his career. His 4 years in his rookie contract was not a disaster, but not great. Then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made a crazy decision to go out and pay him a bunch of money because they're like, hey, he's out there every snap. We'll take that, I guess. So they went out and paid him a bunch of money. And then he legitimately played really well for 3 years, like including, 2021. You see that grade over 80. But then the past 2 seasons, it has just been a disaster. So definitely Brady being there helped, although he had a solid 2019 season as well, is worth mentioning. But past 2 years, it has not been great. 53rd in pass blocking. So him, like Taylor, better at pass blocking than run defense. But yeah, that's what they can do. But let's be honest, it's not going to be one-on-one matchups against Bosa, right? Even something like this, it's the Lions who have great tackles. Even in situations like this, you're still going to see them bring a tight end over to chip. I talked about Penei Sewell a second ago. Well, this is Penei Sewell. He's one of the guys maybe you trust to block Bosa one-on-one, but it doesn't matter because they're like, hey, let's not even worry about it. Let's still bring extra help. As you see, that's what's going to happen. They get the extra help. Bosa is slowed down enough. Goff has time. He makes a throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and they actually pick up a first down on 3rd and 18. Okay, well, that's maybe something you can do. Does Kansas City love to bring extra blockers? Well, they will. They will. They don't love to, but, famously in the Super Bowl when they didn't have their tackles, they also weren't helping out. They didn't have guys coming in and blocking. Andy Reid took a lot of criticism for that game plan, but since then, if there's a mismatch, they will have guys help out. Like something like this is a good example. It's a 3rd down and 13 going up against the Raiders. And the Raiders, they have Max Crosby, right? An elite edge rusher of their own. So you see, there's going to be a halfback blocking here. You're not going to block the whole play, but just block for a bit and then go out and run a route. And as you see for Crosby, once he sees the halfback, he kind of tries to adjust by moving over the middle, but again, taken out of the play at that point. So that's something you can do, right? You can help out. There's ways you can go and do that stuff, but there still is an obvious benefit for San Francisco in that scenario. If Kansas City is having a halfback block Nick Bosa every single play, well, then you're not running a route right away. Then it's going to be more difficult for you to be a safety valve there. But this next play is where things get really interesting, in my opinion. Because yes, that's good, right? Getting a halfback out of, the area, that's good. But what about something like this, where I wouldn't even be shocked if, for the 49ers, they make a conscious effort to get Nick Bosa lined up on the opposite side of wherever the halfback is. On this play, Max Crosby lined up to the offense's right. Halfback is lined up toward the offense's left. And yes, you can motion, but only so much you can do. You only have so much time, right? So no worries, Mahomes is going to bring a tight end to come in and block Max Crosby. But let me, say again what I just said. They're going to bring a tight end to block Max Crosby. Who is their tight end that gets the majority of their snaps? Yes, there's several, but who is the main guy? Travis Kelce. If a halfback is, having to block Bosa a lot this game, well, that's okay. The Chiefs can live with that. If Travis Kelce has to spend some snaps blocking Bosa, that's a great situation. Even on this play, again, it works. It gets Crosby out of position. Mahomes even throws the ball quickly, but it's not complete down the field. MVS does not make that play. And again, that should have been a caught play. Like it should have. Like that play should have worked. At the same time, if it's Kelce, that play probably does work, right? So that's just a benefit that you can bring to the table that will completely go, not on any stat sheet and anything, but can matter a lot. And then there's one other aspect to all of this, which is, I think about last year where we're talking about the Super Bowl, and we kind of said all leading up to the Super Bowl, well, Andrew Wiley, that's not a great situation. He's going to beat a tackle, against this great Eagles pass rush. That could be a real mismatch. We'll see how the Eagles exploit it. Andrew Wiley had a great game that game and was kind of an unsung hero of the Chiefs' last Super Bowl. Can that happen with the Chiefs? To play like this, Jawan Taylor one-on-one against Max Crosby. They paid Jawan Taylor a lot of money for this game, for the Super Bowl, right? We'll watch how on this play he holds up well. I mean, he does hold up well. Listen, eventually Crosby came over there, and I actually think, I'm showing this play for a couple of reasons, because the other aspect is, Mahomes is going to try and get outside the pocket. I do think Bosa's athleticism could do a pretty good job at being able to get over and, make plays happen and not allow Mahomes to make plays happen, which is interesting. But I also want to show that play to say, listen, Jawan Taylor, I've been hard on him on this channel. That's just because I don't think he's worth $20 million a year. There is value in a Jawan Taylor, and could I see him potentially being able to stand up and have a good game? It's absolutely in the cards. Donovan Smith and Jawan Taylor have both had good games at the tackle position. That's not the issue. It's a consistency thing. But if they're on in this Super Bowl, well, that changes things as well. Am I going to bet on it? I'm going to bet on Nick Bosa. I am. He's a star player, and I do think this is an advantage to the 49ers. In fact, going over to my full chart now. So again, this is just something I've been doing. Don't take it too seriously. It's just sort of for fun. But at the end of each of these videos, I'm giving each team a plus or minus 5 for it. So for Kelce video, I said +5 Chiefs. For the Mahomes and how he'll do, after the snap and that kind of stuff. His playmaking side of things, I gave +3 Chiefs, but I'm giving +5 Niners to the Nick Bosa factor. I think it's a pretty big mismatch. Well, yes, there are things the Chiefs can do. There's always things you can do against a good pass rusher. That's the case with any team. And I actually think some of the ways that the Chiefs could try to pay attention to Bosa could be damaging. Because I do think, they will like to hit their, Pacheco in the backfield at times. And they definitely like to hit Travis Kelce. So getting tight, and even their other tight ends are still guys they'll throw to here and there. So getting them to have to block instead of have to just go out and be able to have the free range to run their routes, well, that is something that is an issue. And I do think Bosa, at the end of the day, I trust him more than I trust Smith and Taylor. I'm not saying it can't happen. Who knows? There will be one of these videos for sure, at least one of these videos, I'm going to come on here saying, yeah, I'm pretty heavily leaning one way, and it's going to go the complete opposite way. Maybe that'll happen here, but, I can't bet against Bosa here, I think. That's how I view it. But, yeah, that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.